The Fury of Firestorm, The Nuclear Men, Issue 2, written by Gail Simone and Ethan Van Sciver, art by Yildiray Sinar. We last left off with the boys being attacked at their school, then becoming two separate firestorms, and then fusing into one bigger firestorm named Fury. We pick up with Fury, and he is there with Tanya, just this hulking behemoth in front of her. Tanya comes up and is like, "Ronnie? Jason, is that you guys?" And as soon as she touches him, she gets some sort of weird vision thing, which will be explained later. But she collapses on the ground, and Fury's like, "All right, move or burn. Just get out of here." He's like, "There are killers. You can't just leave. What am I supposed to do?" And he's like, "Move or burn." Meanwhile, the killers are inside. They're like, "Okay, so we've got two new firestorms." He's calling someone. "We've got two new firestorms. One of our people is like blue right now. We need you to send in this like special agent." And he's like, "Are you sure?" And it's like, yes, we're about to like die. No doubt we're about to die. So they try to still be a little quippy with each other, but the boss is like, "No, the quips are done. This is serious now because that thing is going to kill us if it sees us. Oh darn, it's seen us." So they start running away from Fury. Meanwhile, we cut inside of Fury, and there's Jason and Ronnie. They're talking to each other, and they're able to like look out of Fury's eyes and see that Fury's going to kill these guys. Like, that is absolutely what he's aiming to do. Fury already cuts off one of their arms, and we get a brief little explanation as to like, okay, so this thing that somehow I still have in this different dimension, it is the thing that held the Firestorm protocol. It's a magnetic thing, the bosons and blah blah blah. And Ronnie's like, "Dude, none of whatever for all that. None of it's in one ear out the other. Where are we right now?" It's like, "Well, we're inside of a walking nuclear meltdown that's trying to kill those guys." As they're trying to make their getaway, Fury's literally throwing school buses at them, and Ronnie's like, "Can we stop him from killing people?" And he's like, I don't know. Jason has no clue how to control it. But as Fury's about to land the finishing blow, Tanya comes up. He's like, "Jason, Ronnie, if you're in there, the police are here. We gotta go. Also, please don't kill me." And Fury grabs Tanya and flies off. All the mercenaries call into their boss, I suppose. Her name is Zither. Sure, she wears like a half Phantom of the Opera mask, so just give you a visual. She's like, "Yeah, we need out. You can still send in the special team. They go by the name of the Hyenas. And don't worry, we'll take care of all of the mess here." And they literally blow up the entire school. Then we see inside of Fury, and Jason explains exactly what happened. Professor Martenstein, smartest man in the world. Governments would spend billions just to spy on him to try to recreate his stuff. And he had a private chat room with a bunch of the brightest students that he ever had, Jason being one of them. And then he disappeared for a long time. And then Jason got a message, along with a bunch of other people, saying that he found God inside the atom, and he could like end wars with it, but they have to be very careful, and they're going to have to sacrifice a lot for this. And Ronnie, all he hears from this is, "You knew this was going to happen, and yet our coach and our teammate is dead, so this is your fault." They start fighting inside of the whatever realm they're in. Fury lands, sets down Tanya, and then the two firestorms separate out and then transform back into Ronnie and Jason. And Ronnie's like, "Hey, okay, I'm done. I'm going home. Bye." And Jason's like, "I'm sorry, you can't go home. Like, these people, they're from," and this is the part that gets kind of a bit off, "they're from the real governments. Like, the governments you think of, doesn't even matter. Everything comes down to, like, economic clusters of, like, who benefits from what monetarily." And I'm like, all right, whatever. But they're already coming up with a cover story for why the three of us are gone. They're already, like, interrogating our families, and if we ever see them again, they will definitely kill them. So we got to go on the run now. Tanya makes it clear that when she touched Fury, she saw a vision of the future, but it's like a nuclear winter. The moon is blood red and it has the Firestorm symbol carved into it, and everything felt like the end of the world. Ronnie makes a passing mention about how one time he fell asleep and woke up to the emergency broadcast system on, and he thought it was the end of the world. But, it wasn't. And then we see exactly what Jason was saying with the cover stories, how they've already orchestrated that the entire exploding at the school was a terrorist plot by Jason, Ronnie, and Tanya as some sort of like retribution for something. And then we see this special team coming called the Hyenas. We'll get to them. So it turns out that Jason and Tanya and Ronnie all passed out because, it was kind of a big day. But they overslept, and a helicopter's flying in, holding the Hyenas. The Hyenas take some drugs that get them really high, and their whole thing is that they just are so high that they're just laughing constantly. That's their thing. And Ronnie's like, all right, whatever, I'm going to turn myself in. He's like, they're not here to arrest us, they're here to kill us, and if they can't kill us, they'll at least kill Tanya. So they have to transform into Firestorm. They do a whole like Power Ranger thing of Firestorm, activate, and they start fighting at him. Jason has enough wherewithal of like, okay, I'm going to turn your gun into like roses. Like he knows the chemical process to do that. Whereas Ronnie, not so aware, but he does have his sports prowess. So when Jason gets shot by one of their, I want to say they're guns, but they're firing off green shots, so it makes me just think laser beams. But when he gets shot, Ronnie comes in. He's like, I know how to do fire. And he makes fire and then just starts beating up all the guys. But eventually they get Jason down on the ground, and Ronnie's held at gunpoint. And they're like, all right, how is Firestorm going to get out of this one? I like this issue very tentatively. It's a solid piece of moving the story forward. It dealt with the Fury thing. It dealt with them turning into Firestorm their own volition. It basically got the ball rolling. It's starting it off and being like, all right, here's what the plot's going to be. And I'm down with that. Art-wise, it's fine. It's nothing super great. It feels pretty stock standard overall. The coolest thing about it is Fury, but even then, once they're in the middle of a fight, it's only cool when he's just standing there next to Tanya, because it's got like a Hulk next to a normal person feel. As soon as they start the fight scene, it's like, all right, well, he's just a giant thing, so whatever. Overall, I'm going to give this a 6. It's fine. It's good. I'm still waiting for them to do something a bit more. It's very slowly growing the friendship between Jason and Ronnie, and I'm definitely looking forward to that, but it is very slow. So we'll see how long that actually ends up taking. But as for now, it's fine, and I suppose we'll continue on with the Fury of Firestorm next month.